On this day in 1970, there was a nationwide manhunt underway for the bombers behind a deadly attack on the University of Wisconsin main campus. Tonight, NBC5 investigates the manhunt that is still in progress for one of the bombers more than a half-century later. Investigative reporter Chuck Goudie joining us now with new information in an old case here. Chuck?
Stephan, it was a horrific explosion on the UW-Madison campus. Hundreds of years as home of the Badgers, the worst domestic terrorism case in the nation up until that violent moment. And on this very week in 1970, 4 young men angry with the university's military ties at the height of the Vietnam War set off a powerful truck bomb explosion in front of a building that housed the Army Mathematics Research Center. 3 attackers were caught. 1 Badger bomber has been on the lam since 1970. And tonight, more than 5 decades later, the hunt for Leo Burt is heating up again.
I was asleep and all of a sudden heard this huge explosion and looked up at the sky, and literally there were papers coming out of the sky.
A half-century later, witnesses remember as if it was happening right now. A van stolen from a UW professor was packed by the bombers with fertilizer and fuel oil, the same explosive combo that would be used 15 years later to bring down the Oklahoma City Federal Building. But on this day, August 24th, 1970, it was 4 anti-Vietnam War protesters who attacked a building that hosted an Army Math Research Center.
The nihilists who struck at our campus with no regard for human life or property have announced their intent to change university, state, and federal policies. The ultimate target of their vengeance is the structure of our government and the freedoms on which this country was founded.
33-year-old postdoctoral researcher Robert Fastnacht was killed in the attack. Fastnacht went to campus early that day to wrap up some work before leaving with his family on a summer trip. Over the years, 3 of the 4 identified bombers were arrested, prosecuted, and convicted, all except this man, Leo Frederick Burt, just 22 years old when authorities say he took part in the attack. Burt, from Pennsylvania, was a UW student at the time who worked on the campus newspaper. He has now eluded authorities for 56 years. This first FBI wanted poster was released so long ago it was signed by then Bureau Director J. Edgar Hoover, the famous law enforcement figure who pioneered the FBI. But even Hoover couldn't catch Leo Burt. Tonight, there is a $150,000 reward for Burt's capture and this new FBI flyer that includes age-progressed photos of the long-missing fugitive, how he would look today, about 75 years old. Burt is now one of the FBI's top 10 most wanted domestic terror fugitives. The Wisconsin attack occurred more than 30 years before the term domestic terror was even defined in U.S. law books. That didn't happen until after 9/11. The 3 convicted Wisconsin bombers each served fairly short prison sentences. 1 has since died. A second worked as a paralegal in Oregon. And the third opened a juice stand in Madison, right around the corner from where the bombing happened. Their accomplished friend, though, from 56 years ago right now, has ghosted them and eluded justice. Some thinking he may be in Canada, where it's believed he left the scene immediately after the bombing.
Hopefully they'll find him. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it.